into another episode of Friday Night Live. My name is Ren Jones. I'm your favorite certified personal trainer, nutrition coach. I specialize in menopause specific coaching, and I've got a live broadcast for you tonight. I want to talk about the things that change over a certain age. I got my notes here, and I want you to know if you're a woman over 35 or in midlife, and your body isn't responding to exercise and nutrition the way that it used to or the way that you want it to, it's not because your body's broken. It's just because your body's changing. Oftentimes, the fitness community will treat the menopausal woman like she just stepped into a coffin when it's actually a cocoon. You're just changing in ways that you've never changed before. Some people call it reverse puberty. But we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to demystify it. I'm going to start with a quick and dirty introduction to the science, and then we'll move forward from there. So, why is the process not working like it used to? Right? What happened to the results that you used to get when you were 20, 25 years old? And why can't you get them by doing the same things now? There's been some biological changes. So the first change is you don't recover like you used to. If this is new information to you, it could be the information that saves your natural born life. And that's the fact that the changes that you want to see in your body from the exercise that you're doing, from the nutrition that you're doing, the changes that you want to see, they happen as an act of recovery. It's not the work. It's the recovery that makes the things happen. I always use a cake analogy here because I love cake, particularly red velvet cake. And if you think about your exercise routine, the same way we think about baking a cake, right? You've got a recipe. That's your workout. The recipe is your workout. The recipe is your nutrition plan. You've got your ingredients. The ingredients are how many days a week, how many repetitions, how many sets, how long your rest period is, how much protein, how much fiber, how many carbohydrates. You don't have to measure it, but we do have to have some sense of what the proper ratios are. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But even if you got all the ingredients for the cake, even if you follow the recipe to a T, even if you blend it to perfection, if you don't put the cake batter in the oven and let it rest for probably about an hour, maybe a little bit more, you're not going to get your desired end result. And this is where so many like go-getter, midlife, tough mudder, obstacle course, marathon women run into trouble, particularly in midlife. You got the recipe right. You blended everything perfectly. You just don't recover well. And for a lot of you, that was the case in your 20s and 30s too, but it didn't catch up with you this way. Because when estrogen starts to fluctuate, when it starts to plummet, when it starts to decline, you lose your body's ability to recover easily from physical, mental, emotional stress. The buffer has been taken away, and you get that sense of being, as they used to say, rolled hard and put away wet. That's the feeling that you get. Your body's just in a state of exhaustion. And when it's in that state of exhaustion, it will not give you the results that you want from the effort you put in. So number one, you've got a little bit of a recovery issue. You got to be mindful of that. The second thing is muscle loss accelerates. So most people, men and women, lose muscle after age 30. It's something called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia, I think. Sarcopenia, just age-related muscle loss. And that happens to pretty much everybody after 30. The challenge for women is, in some cases, not all, if they haven't been strength training, you don't have a history of exercise that way, you didn't have as much muscle to start with. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, you're starting at a 5 naturally, and it's easy for the muscle loss that happens post 30 to really nip you in the bud, because when you don't have as much muscle on your body And I know there's a lot of talk about not wanting to get bulky and all those things, but when you don't have as much muscle on your body, your metabolic rate isn't as high. When you have less muscle, your metabolism doesn't run as hot. Muscle is what we call a metabolically active tissue. That's just $1,000 phrase that means people who have a good amount of muscle on their body have a higher metabolism. They can get away with more, right? It's like having friends you used to be a judge and all your friends are judges. You can get away with a lot more we got a bunch of friends who are judges in the local court system. Not that I'm encouraging that. We're a nonviolent, non-criminal organization here at Fitness Jones Training. So muscle loss makes your metabolism slower. That means you eat the same amount as you ate in your 20s and 30s, you gain weight because your metabolism doesn't burn as hot. The next thing you want to consider is your stress response changes. If I could do anything when I'm working with the women that I coach who are all go-getters, typically type A personality, hard charging, I can do more, I can do it longer, I can, et cetera, et cetera. If I could do anything, it would be to minimize their stress. Stress plays a huge role in the recovery that I just talked about and in your body's ability to change in the way that you want it to based on the exercise and nutrition that you're doing. I will commonly take the go-getter 5 a.m. Monday exerciser. And maybe for the first week, maybe we don't exercise on Monday. I know they say never miss a Monday, right? But that's BS. And for some people, hey, even for me, for some people, bad words incoming, earmuff the kids. For some people, Monday's an absolute shit show, right? Sunday's high stress because of all the things you got to do at the beginning of the week. And adding a workout to that Monday, for some people, it de-stresses them. For some people, it's just another form of stress. And even though it's something that we call eustress, EUSTRESS, which is the more positive form of stress, that's the stress you get from working out and exercising. Even though it's positive stress, it's still stress, and you may not recover well from stress. Add to that, at this point in your life, ladies, you may be a member of the sandwich generation, right? You've got young adult children or teenage children that you're caring for, or young children. You've got an aging or ailing parent that you're also taking care of. You're in that caregiver sandwich. You may be in a position where you have the most responsibility in your occupation that you've ever had. Like, a lot of people look to you and they lean on you and you're in charge of things. You may not be making the most money you've ever made yet, a story for another time, but you probably have a tremendous amount of responsibility. Your relationship, your long-term relationship is not in the honeymoon phase. It's not in the golden years, right? So there could be stress applied there. So all these stressors play a part in you not being able to achieve the desired end result that you want to achieve. A menopause-informed coach isn't a magician. I'm not a wizard. I don't balance your hormones. But what a menopause-informed coach can do is realize all of those very specific variables that happen in your life and have strategies to help you become more educated about them and deploy strategies that allow us to work with the new difficulties that you're encountering, whether they be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, so we can set a path for you that allows you to better exist with the biology and psychology that you're dealing with at this point in your life, because you're not 20 anymore, or 25. And the next part is the sleep changes. Look, when you're not sleeping, nothing works. When your sleep's jacked up, every aspect of your life declines. Your strength declines. Your appetite goes haywire. Your ability to feel satisfied from the food you eat goes haywire. Your body's ability to put on muscle goes haywire. Your body's ability to burn fat goes haywire. Your cognitive skills go haywire. Sleep is so important that I would often prioritize that with my clients. And in some cases, they'll get results simply from skipping a Monday and sleeping a little bit later, and adjusting their sleep hygiene. That doesn't mean whether you wash your feet or your armpits before you go to sleep, although I highly advise it. We're a fresh family here at Fitness Jones Training. That means the habits that you deploy in around your sleep, the temperature of your room, whether you wear a mask, how dark the room is, staying away from electronics a period of time before you go to sleep. All those things fall into the category of what we call sleep hygiene. So just addressing sleep hygiene, that can make a big difference. We're going to move on. So that's why the old rules kind of stop working for you, the things that I just noted there. Moving on to really 4 midlife pillars. These are the pillars that do actually work for the midlife woman who wants to make some health changes, some fitness changes, some body fat reduction or an increased muscle, or just general health. You want cardiovascular health. Not every woman that I work with is going to come to me because they want to lose weight, right? That's an assumption that we shouldn't make as professionals, but we often do, particularly men in this space. And I, no disrespect to the men, I don't want to get my man card pulled, but it's easy for us to assume that when you come to us, you're going to make a request that's deeply rooted in what you used to see in Teen Beat magazine or Cosmopolitan or Vogue or any number of publications that we all survived, elder millennials now, all the way through Generation X and beyond. A lot of that messaging was get skinny, get skinny, get skinny. So I hear that as a lot as a coach, and it's not my business to decide what you do with your body. It's only my business to assist you ethically and healthfully so that you don't do yourself harm in pursuit of a 3-digit number on that little devil's box under your feet. But the first thing that we want to look at there is strength training. Strength training is one of the 4 pillars of success in midlife for women who want to be a little bit more fit than what they are. Not only does strength training help you preserve that muscle that we talked about, that sarcopenia. You don't want to go down that road because muscle is your retirement plan. Muscle is the new 401k. We also understand now that muscle is a key player in preventing cognitive decline. We know that women that have more muscle over time have less interaction with early onset Alzheimer's and dementia. Remember, ladies, 2 out of 3 Alzheimer's cases are women. It's prevalent in your community. We want to stave that off. Put some muscle in your body. You can help yourself do that. So muscle and strength training to preserve the muscle, to regrow bone. If you've got brittle bones, osteoporosis, osteopenia, strength training, the mechanical tension pulling on those bones can actually help reverse that. And we want that because we neither want you to be weak, nor clumsy, nor brittle and fragile. We want you to lead the resistance when the aliens come. Apparently, they're on their way to Earth at any moment. We want you to be able to lead the resistance and not be abducted. Strength training is going to be that for you. That's one of the 4 pillars. One of the second of the 4 pillars is we got to talk about the protein. Now, let's all take a time out. Let's take a chill pill right here, because no, you don't need to find cookie dough infused with 600 grams of protein. No, you don't have to find protein infused lemonade. Like, the internet's gone protein bananas now. It's protein crazy. And we have a tendency in this industry to sort of, another bad word incoming, earmuffs for the kids. We have a tendency in this industry to sort of bastardize research. I mean, I think we all remember the strawberry ketones of the early 2000s, and then it was what sea moss was going to save you, and then it was essential oils, and then it was what's the other thing? Not sea moss. There's another thing, MCT oil, and on and on and on. We'll get a little tiny piece of research that says this thing was apple cider vinegar was slightly helpful, and the next thing you know, people are walking around with an IV drip of apple cider vinegar in their left arm. We don't have to go that far, but you probably need a little more protein than what you're getting. Generally speaking, most people, let alone most women, are undernourishing for their protein requirements. Like if you're gonna do some fairly rigorous strength training, you're gonna need some protein. It's the building blocks of that muscle and that bone, so that you can be generally assured that your hard work in the gym is going to pay off in maintaining your muscle. So protein is a big thing. Stress reduction, we just talked about it. This is another pillar. It's good water. This is another pillar of what actually works. Now, stress reduction can be difficult because we first must admit that the stress is present. I'm going on year 12 next March. Next March will be my 12th year anniversary of being a coach and doing this for a living. If there is a type B personality woman, I've not encountered her yet. Not in my business. They're all type A, so stress might feel like a warm bath to you, right? Stressed may be your most natural state. You may not be able to recognize that you're in a stressed state. A few things that I see physically is a lack of strength increases over the course of, I usually do a 4-week training program one at a time. My program holistically is usually 12 to 16 weeks, but in 4-week increments, we'll maintain a similar workout. And I can tell by your numbers if your reverse lunge stays at the same weight or reduces in weight over time because you're not recovering well, because you're not building strength. I can typically tell that there's some stress involved in what you're doing. If you're yelling at me and you sound a little bit like Samuel Jackson, I can typically tell that the stress levels are getting high, and it happens often. If you're encountering ligament issues, stress, fractures, small nagging injuries. Now that could be for another reason during menopause, that musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause. But if I see you encountering, little bumps and scrapes and cuts and injuries and aches and pains and tiny fractures, things like that, it's usually a result of stress. So we've got to implement some stress protocols to help you through that. You will not get results in a stress state. Let me just say that out loud. If just in case you're wondering, high stress, no results. I don't care what you do. You hit your macros perfectly, yada, yada, yada. Stress will kill your results. And because estrogen is a stress buffer, you're a little bit more susceptible to stress. This is why your husband can't chew food in the same room with you anymore, because you're not resilient to this. This is why you got to turn down that damn music and tell those kids to get off your lawn, right? They say 76 or something % of divorces are initiated by women. I fully feel as if the miscommunication of perimenopausal and menopausal symptoms, the man's inability to understand what's happening, and even perhaps your inability to understand what's happening, you may think that you're having these feelings for no reason. Like a lot of that has to do with the estrogen and being less resilient to estrogen. And then we talked about sleep and recovery. I won't beat that dead horse. We'll move on because I'm kind of short on time here. So those are the things that you want to think about in the context of, why am I doing the things that I thought would work and have worked for me in the past? Everybody's worked is different. For some of you, it's increased cardiovascular conditioning. For some of you, it's fat loss. For some of you, it's maintaining muscle or muscle gain. For some of you, it's explosiveness and balance and agility and speed. But whatever that thing is, the reason why you're seeing that technique, those things not work over 35 and into midlife is because of stress not being buffered is because of the lack of muscle. It's dissipating over time, is because of sleep or lack thereof, sleep quality, and because of probably a slightly bigger need for protein than what you're typically used to. I'm going to wrap this thing up, but before I go, I got to pay the bills because I am enrolling my once a year Black Friday offer. So it's for my program, Strength to Success, my 12-week signature program for women over 30, 35. It's all based on consistently evidence-based research about what works for women in menopause. I went through 3 certifications to get here, about 4 books, and countless lectures to be able to coach through the lens of menopause. And I've been doing that since about 2018. But for anyone who enrolls for my standard 3-month program, I'm going to add a month at no cost, 4 additional weeks. Anyone who decides to enroll for 6 months of my program, I'm going to add 2 additional months at no cost for more time and more value. And anybody who enrolls in a year of my program, I'm going to add 3 additional months at no cost. In addition to that, there are 2 bonuses. One bonus is the Strength to Success ramp up. That gives you 1 full week of orientation where we learn everything we need to know about the process, how to utilize my app, etc., for 1 week. And that week exists outside of the 12 weeks of the program, just to give you 7 days to get rid of the jitters, get familiar with the system. If tech's not your thing, everybody's not into apps and texts and tech and email. So it gives you a 1-week dress rehearsal before the show opens on that following Monday. So everyone will get that bonus. And then in addition, you'll get to choose between 2 other bonuses. You'll choose one of the 2. The first bonus is the Perfect Plate Challenge. That's where I send you curated meals for the first 2 weeks of the program that you can just heat and eat. So as you're learning to exercise, you're not also learning how to make food that is going to help you hit your goals. And the second bonus that you can choose from is my personal favorite, and that's the Choose Your Challenge bonus. And what I do there is you'll get 3 different workouts for every workout that you're asked to do. So every day that you have a workout, you'll have 3 different ones. You'll have a 15-minute workout, or a 30-minute workout, or a 60-minute workout. You can choose which one you do on any given day. None of them are cop-out workouts. Doing any of the 3, you'll never do all 3. Doing any of the 3 will get you to your goals. That's my guarantee. So I did that because you already know if you're a woman entering into perimenopause, definitely know if you're going through the menopause transition, energy fluctuates from day to day. Some days you just don't have 60 minutes worth of energy. Your capacity will shift and change, and it won't always match your ability. So we need to have something in place that allows you to choose to do something that day. We work from the perspective of always something instead of all or nothing. We do always something. So if you do something, we know will help you hit your goals. In addition, there's a guarantee, a written guarantee that I place on all our programs. So that program is open for enrollment from now until Cyber Monday. Not only is my Black Friday deal, it's my Small Business Saturday deal, and it's my Cyber Monday deal. So switch the labels on it if you need to. I'm going to enroll 7 women in that process. Once all of those spots are gone, there'll be no more spots for Black Friday, and we'll be looking to next year Black Friday for this deal that I only offer once a year. If that interests you, if you need that, just DM me the word live, LIVE. I'll know you saw me here, and we'll have a quick discussion about how it works, and we'll see if we need to take the next step, if it might be a good fit for you. I'll be back tomorrow. All subsequent live broadcasts will be at 6:00 p.m. Eastern on these channels, and I'll be back for a live Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to Monday next week as we're working on enrollment. I didn't monitor comments here, but feel free to send me a question if you have one immediately, Or, like I said, just DM me the word live. I know you saw me here, and that guarantees your eligibility for the Black Friday offer, in addition to the bonuses, in addition to the guarantee. Until next time, let's keep it simple.